to thank the representative of Gambia, who is a model in timekeeping, as we saw on the screen. I now give the floor to Her Excellency Zornitsa Roussinova, the representative of Bulgaria, who is Deputy Minister of Labour and Social Policy and will speak on behalf of the European Union. Deputy Minister, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, I have the honor to speak on behalf of the European Union and its member states. The candidate countries Turkey, former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, Montenegro, Serbia, Albania, the country of the stabilization and association process, and the potential candidate Bosnia and Herzegovina, as well as Ukraine, Republic of Moldova, Armenia, Georgia, aligned themselves with this statement. Equality between women and men, girls and boys is a fundamental priority for the European Union. It is enshrined in our treaties since the very beginning of our Union, and today the EU is engaged worldwide as a leading advocate on gender equality and women's and girls' empowerment. Despite significant and concrete progress made in advancing the human rights of women and girls worldwide, millions of women and girls still face threats and challenges everywhere on a daily basis. Let me give you some examples. The voices of women and girls often go unheard as they are underpressed in decision-making positions and processes, and they are less likely to run for a political office at all levels, and in some societies are unable to do so due to deep-rooted constraints. They still have a long way to go to reach parity with men as equal players in their economic empowerment, especially in the private sector. Their income remains significantly less than that of other male peers, not only per year but also per hour worked. Many women show that the lion's share as caretakers with unpaid care work and household tasks, placing obstacles to their full and equal participation in the labor market. They continue to be victims of all kinds of gender-based and domestic violence, since 1 of the 3 women around the world have experienced sexual violence, physical violence, or both. This is an epidemic that affects whole communities, not just the targeted individuals. They have less access than men to social media and internet at all levels, from use, creation, and development to the imagination of what it can be. Online violence and harassment of women are overt expression of the gender inequalities and discrimination that exists offline. Online, the hateful messages become amplified. Women and girls living in rural areas face increasingly acute challenges that magnify these gender inequalities between women and men, girls and boys. Isolation, marginalization, inadequate infrastructure, and insufficient provision of services have a profound effect on women and girls' ability to meaningfully participate in the decision-making, get access to quality education and decent work, and to get support when they experience any form of discrimination or violence. They also face serious and specific obstacles, for example, related to their individual rights to inheritance, land ownership, bank accounts, and access to new natural and productive resources. The European Union is determined to step its efforts to bring transformative and lasting change to women's and girls' lives across the globe. We currently support actions for increased women leadership, political participation, and economic empowerment, for combating sexual and gender-based violence, and the representatives of plans and budget to gender equality, among others. The recently adopted European Consensus on Development in this cornerstone of the EU development policy in the implementation of the 2030 Agenda, and it aims to ensure a consistent gender perspective across all our policies. The consensus is part of the overall EU response to Agenda 2030 as instrumental for achieving gender equality and women's and girls' empowerment. Allow me to draw your attention also to the ambitious and groundbreaking initiative named the Spotlight Initiative to End Violence Against Women and Girls, launched in September last year and implemented worldwide together with the United Nations. With an initial investment of €5 million by the EU, the Spotlight Initiative translated our commitments to combating gender-based violence as well as to efficient multilateralism into targeted large-scale actions in 5 regions of the world: Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, Latin America, and Pacific. This initiative is also contributing to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals and their gender-responsive targets. Furthermore, the EU is strengthening the legal framework by signing the Council of Europe's Istanbul Convention, the first international legal instrument at EU level and the most far-reaching international treaty to prevent and combat violence against women and domestic violence. The Convention explicitly recognizes violence against women as a human rights violation. At the same time, the EU has formally taken over the leadership until the end of this year of the Call to Action on Protection from Gender-Based Violence in Emergency, a multi-stakeholder global initiative bringing together more than 60 states, international organizations, and NGOs to make sure that gender-based violence is addressed from the earliest onset of a crisis. The EU also continues to take action to implement UN Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security and its 7th follow-up resolution. The WPS agenda is applicable to full spectrum of foreign and security policy, including conflict prevention, mediation, conflict resolution and reconciliation, humanitarian and development assistance, and political engagement in relation to situations of conflict and fragility. In addition, addressing gender root causes of violence remains critical to conflict prevention. We firmly believe that the challenges we face at home and abroad call for our unwavering commitment to defending the human rights of all, whatever they may be questioned or violated. Equality between women and men, girls and boys calls for the respect of all human rights. It is not only right and just, but also a question of peace, security and sustainable development towards more equal, secure, resilient, prosperous and freer societies. The EU remains committed to the promotion, protection and fulfillment of all human rights and to the full and effective implementation of the Beijing Platform for Actions, of the Programme of Action of the ISPD and the outcomes of their review conferences, and to sexual and reproductive health and rights in its context. Having that in mind, the EU reaffirms its commitments to the promotion, protection and fulfillment of the rights of every individual to have full control over and decide freely and responsibly on matters related to their sexuality and sexual and reproductive health, free from discrimination, coercion and violence. The EU further stresses the need for universal access to quality and affordable, comprehensive sexual and reproductive health information, education, including comprehensive sexuality education and healthcare services. We stand behind those defending of human rights of women and girls, the grassroots activists, women's movements, non-governmental organizations, and human rights defenders. The EU believes that every country benefits from an empowered, strong, vocal, and free civil society. We will therefore continue to strengthen our engagement with them, also ensuring the continuous support to their actions worldwide. Madam Chair, the EU is committed to working with governments worldwide to achieve real, tangible, and lasting progress for women and girls' empowerment and to ensure that civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights are enjoyed equally by all, free from discrimination, fear, and violence in its all forms. Thank you.